For years now, being a Raiders fan has felt like riding a roller coaster blindfolded. Fast drops, unexpected turns, and never quite knowing if you're headed up or about to crash down. But this offseason, this one feels different. After years of chaos, mismatched leadership, and head-scratching decisions, the Las Vegas Raiders may have finally found a formula that makes sense. A head coach with a vision. A quarterback no one's talking about, but should be. And a rookie running back who might just be the next great thing in silver and black. But before we get into why 2025 could be the start of a new era for Raider Nation, we need to talk about how they got here. Because this story, like most Raiders stories, starts with dysfunction. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. Let's rewind a bit. Remember John Gruden? He had the Raiders on the upswing. The team had identity, swagger, and it actually felt like a plan was in place. But then the scandal hit. Emails leaked, and Gruden was forced out. That shockwave derailed everything. Enter Rich Bisaccia, the interim coach. Against all odds, he led the Raiders to the playoffs. The locker room loved him. The fans rallied around him. It felt like maybe, just maybe, this guy earned the shot. But nope. That would have made too much sense. Instead, Josh McDaniels got the job. And from day one, it just didn't feel right. He forced out Derek Carr without having a legitimate replacement. He lost the trust of the players. He lost the locker room. And before the 2023 season even ended, the situation was untenable. The Raiders weren't just losing games, they were losing their identity. Then came Antonio Pierce, the linebacker turned leader who stepped in midway through 2023 and gave the team, and the fans, something they hadn't had in a long time. Hope. His fire, his energy, his relatability to the players, it brought the team back to life. But even then, owner Mark Davis didn't fully believe in him. He gave Pierce the job, but it wasn't with full support. That so-called 2-year deal? Let's be honest. It was a 1-year prove-it contract with a quick exit built in. The writing was on the wall, and that made things complicated. Pierce couldn't hire the offensive staff he wanted. He went after big names like Chip Kelly and Cliff Kingsbury for offensive coordinator, but both turned him down. Why? Because they knew the truth. They saw that flimsy contract and realized there's no real commitment here. If the team struggles, they're gone, and no top-tier coach wants to risk their reputation like that. So, Pierce had to settle. And that's how we ended up with Luke Getsy running the offense, easily one of the most questionable hires in the NFL last year. Let's be honest, Getsy was a disaster. The kind of OC who'd run the ball 3 straight times when it wasn't working, and then follow that up with 3 straight passes when that wasn't working either. There was no rhythm, no adjustment, no identity. And that's not just analyst talk. You could see the effect on the players. Davante Adams, one of the best receivers in football, wanted out. Getsy had been his position coach back in Green Bay, but that didn't translate to success in Vegas. Being a great position coach doesn't mean you're ready to run an offense. And Getsy proved that week after week. He made critical decisions that hurt the team, like making Gardner Minshew the starter over Aiden O'Connell. Now, O'Connell isn't perfect, but he's clearly better than Minshew at this stage. Even Pierce didn't love that move, but he gave Getsy full autonomy. That was a mistake. All of it added up to one undeniable fact. Pierce was never set up to succeed. He had a vision, a tough, physical team built around defense and a punishing ground game. But without the right staff or front office support, that vision never got a real chance. That brings us to this off-season, and this is where things start to feel different. Mark Davis realized the structure was broken, so he brought in reinforcements. First, he added Tom Brady as a minority owner. Then he hired John Spytek as GM and Pete Carroll as head coach. Now think about that for a second. You've got Brady, a legendary competitor who demands excellence. Spytek, a smart, detail-oriented GM who shares Carroll's vision. And Carroll himself, a seasoned, proven leader with a Super Bowl ring and a philosophy that actually fits the roster. This is what alignment looks like. Carroll got a proper 3-year deal. That's stability. That's trust. And with that deal in place, he was able to go get Chip Kelly as his offensive coordinator, something Pierce couldn't do the year before. That alone speaks volumes. Let's talk about Chip Kelly for a second. Most people remember his tenure as the Eagles head coach and think of the up-tempo spread offense gimmicks, but that's not who Kelly is anymore. He's evolved. At Ohio State, he showed he can run power formations, use multiple tight ends, and adapt to personnel. He'll still use the spread when it fits, but he's not married to it. He's become a full-scheme offensive mind, not just a tempo guy. During his time with the Eagles, his offenses ranked top 3 in points and yards per game. Say what you want about his head coaching record, but the guy knows how to move the football. This is a massive upgrade over Getsy. And the timing couldn't be better, because now Kelly has a quarterback who can actually execute his scheme. Say what you want about Geno Smith, but don't sleep on him. This guy has been through the fire and come out sharper. After years of bouncing around the league and being labeled a bust, Carroll gave him a chance to sit, learn, and grow. And when he finally got the opportunity in 2022, he balled out, throwing for over 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, and leading the Seahawks to a playoff berth. This wasn't just a comeback story, it was a statement. And even last year, behind a beat-up offensive line, he still threw 21 touchdowns, completed 70% of his passes, and led his team to a 10-7 record. According to Pro Football Focus, he's been a top 10 quarterback over the last 3 seasons. He's accurate, he's efficient, he's seen it all. And now, paired with Kelly's adaptable scheme and a dangerous run game, Geno could take another step. Let's talk about that run game. Because when you hear run the ball and play defense, you better have a running back who can carry that load. Enter Ashton Jeanty. Drafted at number 6 overall, some people raised their eyebrows at the pick. A running back that early? In 2025? But the Raiders weren't guessing. They saw something special. Jeanty is not just a fast guy with good stats against weak teams. He did his thing against top defenses. Penn State, Oregon, it didn't matter. He broke tackles, created space, and showed elite vision. But more than that, he understands the art of running. He knows how to set up defenders. He knows how to deliver a shoulder and take it away. He's elusive, powerful, and smart. He's basically Josh Jacobs, but with more burst and better agility. And with Carroll and Kelly calling the shots, Jeanty's going to be the centerpiece of this offense. Don't be surprised if he's Offensive Rookie of the Year. But what about the other side of the ball? Well, here's the good news. The Raiders' defense wasn't the problem last year. In fact, during the second half of the 2023 season, they were the number one defense in the NFL. Things got dicey in 2024 with injuries, but even then, the defense held up. The real issue, the offense couldn't stay on the field. 3 and outs, turnovers, poor field position. You can't expect a defense to dominate when they're gassed by halftime. This offseason, the Raiders lost a few names on that side of the ball, but they replaced them with guys who fit what Carroll and DC Patrick Graham want to do. It's a defense built on speed, communication, and physicality. And now they'll finally have an offense that can hold up its end of the bargain. That's the real story here. For the first time in a long time, the Raiders are aligned. Pete Carroll believes in running the ball and playing defense. So does GM John Spytek. So did Antonio Pierce, honestly. The difference is, now the front office is backing that vision with action. That's why Tom Telesco didn't last. He's a great drafter, but he didn't value running backs. He let Josh Jacobs walk even though the team was built to run the ball. He and Pierce were pulling in opposite directions. Carroll and Spytek, they're rowing the same way. And that's why they took Jeanty. That's why they're rolling with Geno. That's why they brought in Kelly. Every move makes sense because it's part of a single vision. Look, this is still the Raiders. Nothing's guaranteed. Injuries happen, expectations get heavy. And yes, it's going to take more than one offseason to erase years of dysfunction. But this is a foundation. A real head coach, a legitimate quarterback, a star rookie running back, a defense that's already proven it can be elite. And for once, just once, no mixed messages coming from the top. For Raider Nation, that's something to believe in. This year really might be different.